Blessings to the Most High Yahweh, blessings to the universe, blessings to the ancestors, blessings to the Yeshua consciousness, blessings to you for watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm MagneticIntuition, and I had a topic I definitely wanted to talk about. It's gonna ruffle some feathers, but you know, hey, who better to talk about it than me, right? Mr. Controversy. Hey, if you agree with that, you agree with that. If you don't, it's all good. Alright, so let's get into it. Today I want to talk about Freemason barbers and beauticians. Now, of course, I used to go to the barber more than anything, right? Whether it was in Houston, where I'm from, whether it was on the road when I was working, or whether I was in Africa, you know, different countries, getting my hair cut. And one of the things I didn't notice was my hair was on sale. You'll ask yourself, why would your hair be on sale, right? And there's reasons for that. As I stated in previous videos, I'm an earth angel, and unfortunately there's a lot of barbers that are devil worshippers, which would, in other words, be Freemasons. So what's going on? What was going on, because I cut my own hair now. Been doing it for about 3 months now. Yeah, about 3 months. So, what's been going on, or what was going on in the past, was I would travel to an area, let's say Rwanda or Zambia. Just giving examples, right? And there's barbers over there, and I would find the barbers on Instagram, and when I find the barbers on Instagram, I would travel to their barbershop, and everything would be all good, right? If it's a regular barbershop, then it's a lot harder to sell my hair versus if you're staying in a place on your own, right? Like an independent shop that you have on your own, it's easier for someone to sell your hair. And I've caught barbers in the past actually doing that. So, for instance, more recently, about within 2 years, I've seen people literally, like, not even get haircuts that are waiting on the line after me. It's just me and that person, and they will sit there until I'm finishing my haircut. There'll be people before me, and they'll be like, "Oh, just go ahead. You could get your haircut. No problem. You know, I could wait. I'm doing work." There's one guy, he was like, "I'm doing work." I already knew what time it was. I'm like, bro, like, I already know you're here. I know you're a Freemason too. I know you're here to get my hair, to collect my hair, and do witchcraft on it. I already know what time it is. So, as I mentioned on Airbnb, also Uber, Lyft, and then you have Booksy, right? And then you have another site called The Cut. So The Cut and Booksy, those are two sites that I used to use to get my haircuts, right? So those sites only produce Freemasons for my haircuts. They don't produce regular people, just Freemasons, right? But if you think about it, when dealing with hair, whether it's a beautician or a barber, doing witchcraft on somebody's hair to bring your customers back to you would make a lot of sense, right? Like, at least for the people on the dark side, right? Like, if you're on the light side, you're with the Most High, you're not doing witchcraft to bring customers back. Let's keep it real, right? So I found myself going to barbers that do witchcraft on my hair, and it's been a real emotional situation. Not on my end, though, but on the barbershops and the barbers end, right? I've had barbers like do the weirdest stuff and say the craziest stuff to me or about me, you know. So, and let me give you an example. One case would be, there was a barber I had for like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and he was good at what he did, but he was, like I said, he was a Freemason. So there was a time I was like, bro, you know, he used to record. He was like, is it cool? He used to ask me like, yo, is it cool if I record you, you know? But really, he was trying to, you know, get my eyes, and he used to do a lot of, try to do witchcraft for me and stuff. Try to get my eyes, and of course he got my hair. So this last time I was like, no, I'm good, bro. Like, I'm not really, excuse me, I'm not really into, you know, doing the whole camera thing. Like, it's not necessary, you know. And he, you know what he said to me? He was like, man, stop acting like a bitch, man. And I was like, what? Like, bro, what are you talking about? I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you be so emotional to call another man a bitch about not getting recorded, unless there was something that you was gaining from the situation? So me being me, I'm chilling. I'm like, bro's bugging, you know what I'm saying? I know he ain't just really say that to fight. He said that for another reason, because if he wanted to fight, then he would have just said it. But he didn't. It wasn't like that. It was on some, he was really trying to get footage for his cult. You understand what I'm saying? So basically he was trying to get me to say things on video so his cult could use it against me in the future. So he would say things like, he would ask me a question, and then after I respond, he would backdoor me and respond and say, well, the youth, you know, they didn't grow up like this and they didn't grow up like that. So he was trying to already like make me look like the bad guy in the videos that he was creating against me. So I'm like, I don't even trust bro, you know. So at the time I'm thinking like, yo, why would he even, you know, like try to disrespect me like that? I'm confused here, you know. I've been a customer for a little while now, you know. So anyway, you know, situations like that, you know, like in my emotional intelligence video, I should have added that on, you know. Someone calling you out your name, and you being calm and trying to figure out like, why would this person disrespect me like that? Like, you really trying to fight, bro? Like, what's going on here, you know? I mean, those are fighting words, right? But my spirit wouldn't allow me to even like engage in that situation, because my soul knows what was really going on. My spiritual team knows what's really going on. My ancestors know what's going on. The Most High, our Creator, knows what's going on. So when you give that energy back to the wicked, the devil worshippers that are in these cults, like the Freemasons, then you're actually energizing them, you know? You're giving them what they want, you know? Just now, like probably like an hour ago, I'm in this Airbnb right now, and the person I was cleaning the bathroom, she's slamming on the toilet. Why are you slamming on the toilet? My room's right here. Because she's an Eastern Star, that's why. Like, no brainer, right? Like, so. Or the guy that's standing in the next room to me. He goes in there, he's like 60 years old, and he's slamming on the toilet. Bro, why are you slamming on the toilet for? It's like 3 in the morning, bro. Because he's a Freemason. Like, you know, these things are like no-brainers, right? So, these people, they have emotional issues. They have childhood wounds that they haven't healed. And, you know, fighting fire with fire is not going to solve it. You know, we have to go within. So, back to the barber situation. So I had that situation with a barber. There was another situation with a barber where this was like, was this in high school? No, this is my high school barber. And he's a Freemason. Oh my gosh, like that's clear. So basically, this is what happened. I went to his chair. He told me he was ready. I went to his chair. He went and sat outside for like 20 minutes. So the barber that was near, that was like next in the next chair, I guess it was all a setup. This is a while back. But I guess it was all set up. So the guy, the next barber, he was like, yo, you just gonna let him disrespect you like that? Like, he's sitting outside and he told you to sit in the chair? And I'm like, no, you right, bro. And I left, you know. But it was basically a setup to get me out of there, you know. But then that was back in like maybe 2005 or I don't know, 6 or something like that. It was a while. We're in 2025 now. But then I see this guy in my dreams, like within this year, last year. And I'm like, bro, I always knew you was a Freemason. I just didn't know exactly what was going on at the time, you know? So as time was going on and I was going to other barbers, you know, they were catching on to me knowing what it was, you know? So one guy who used to cut my hair, he didn't cut my hair long, maybe like 3 cuts. Really good dude, man, really good dude. Knew how to cut really good. Had his own mobile barber shop. I know he's gonna see this video. Had his own mobile barber shop, you know. And he cut my hair and then he swept my hair outside. And I'm like, why would you sweep my hair outside? So I'm like, bro, like you just swept my hair outside. I was about to pick my hair up. I'm like, bro, you swept my hair outside. He was like, I'll dispose of it inside. So I gave him the hair and then he took it inside and did whatever he did with it, right? So I was like, all right, I can't go to this guy anymore. Obviously, he's selling my hair too. He's doing witchcraft with my hair too. So, I mean, the whole point in this video is like, hey, just be aware of the barbers that you're getting your haircuts from, because and the beauticians. I'm sorry for the ladies, the beauticians. I think the ladies are more up on game when it comes to this type of stuff, you know, because there just seems to be like more witches out here. I don't know why, but you know, there just seems to be more witches. People talk about witches more than ever. Just so with beauticians, women have, and women, y'all know this, right? That there's more jealousy with women. You know, it's kind of like a natural thing, right? So, you know that there's beauticians that don't want your hair to grow, you know? They're out there. We all know this, right? This is no secret, right? So if they don't want your hair to grow, or they think you're beautiful and they want to find a way to stop that, they're going to do witchcraft on your hair, right? Or they may cut your hair, too much hair out your head, and then use your hair to do witchcraft, right? And but best believe, as long as you know who you are and you have God's authority, and you can block all of that, you know, send it back. It's within one prayer. Just pray about it every time. But I would recommend everyone to, you know, practice on yourself, you know. You don't have to cut anything. Do little by little, you know. Just practice. That's the blessing of YouTube, right? YouTube gives us the opportunity to learn whatever we want to learn, you know. And I think it got so bad for me, like I mentioned before, I didn't finish. It got so bad for me when I was going to barbershops. These guys already knew who I was, you know. They already know who I am, but now they know that I know that they're Freemasons, you understand? So when I was getting my haircuts, guys were like coming in super late. Some were coming in super late. Others were like, they'll come in, but they will like leave something out. Let's say if I was supposed to get my hair washed, you know, that comes with the haircut. The guy, one of the guys, he was like, yeah, the what you call it, the sink doesn't work, you know. And it's like, bro, like, come on, really, the sink doesn't work? Okay, all right. So they'll try to cut me short on things, you know. So I was like, man, you know what? Let me just learn how to cut my own hair, you know. I've done it before for like one semester when I went out to school in the country. Like when I first got out of high school, there was a school I went to, and they didn't have any barbers. So I was like, I just started practicing on my hair and stuff, and I was doing a good job. So I just kept with it up until like maybe for like less than a year, and then I stopped. But I think this time around, I think I'm gonna just keep going, keep practicing, you know, work on it. So yeah. So just be careful, man. People could be jealous of you. You don't even know it, you know. And there was another story I could talk about with a barber where he's cut my hair, do a really good job, and then I noticed his homeboy. This is a hood dude, right? This dude is just like, he's a little different, right? But his homeboy was cutting my hair if he wasn't there, you know? But I had to leave, so it was his homeboy. He was the only barber at the shop at the moment, and then there was somebody in front of me that was getting their beard done. He was like, yeah, he just needs his beard done, but he was also shaping up his hair too. So while he was doing that, time was ticking, and I had a flight to catch to go to work. And of course, I'm not missing work for no haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could always get a haircut in that city that I'm in. So I'm like, bro, like, I gotta go, man. I got a plane to catch. You know what I'm saying? So I left. So when I came back, his homeboy, he didn't appreciate that. So he told my regular barber, and my regular barber was talking shit. But he wasn't talking shit to me. He was talking to indirectly. He was talking to his homeboys while I was sitting on the other side. And he was just talking some type of mess, and I caught on later. I didn't catch on at the time, but I was like, one of the beauticians had to stop him. Like, hey, like, come on with that, man. None of that disrespect. And I didn't even know he was talking about me, but he was just saying some like weird stuff, you know. But so he cut my hair, not that time, but another time. And what he did was, when I went to, I was going to Toronto. Yeah, I was going to Toronto. This is like 2019, before COVID. I was going to Toronto. So what he did was, he did my hair perfect. He could cut and everything, but what he did was, he cut like a line that cut off my beard and my sideburns, and I didn't see it. So when I got to Toronto, I seen it, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, got you, bro. I can't fool with you anymore." You know what I'm saying? Like, I see, it wasn't just that situation. It was jealousy as well. You understand what I'm saying? Now, was he a Freemason? I don't know, right? That one I'm not sure, because I didn't go through Booksy or cut it, but I can assume that. But yeah. Moral of the story, you know, make sure you do a full background check on your barbers and your beauticians, because it's a dirty game out here. And you know, being a beautician or barber, you don't need a background check to get the job. You know, this is a trade. You understand what I'm saying? And you can do it on your own, or you go to a barbershop. You can have a prison record, or, you know, anything. You could have something to do with like children. You know, you could be they could be doing some weird stuff like that, and you wouldn't know, because we don't do background checks. They don't do background checks on barbers and beauticians. But, you know, for anyone that was in prison that's not a part of any of that stuff, no harm to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all respect. You know, all respect. If you're not into that type of stuff, witchcraft, on your customers and all that weird shit, then much respect to you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about all barbers and beauticians. I'm talking about the Freemason barbers and the Eastern Star beauticians that do witchcraft on their customers. So if you're even a Freemason and Eastern Star, you don't do witchcraft on your customers, then I'm not talking to you. So salute to everyone. Blessings to everyone. Stay safe. Stay prayed up. God bless. Thank you.